Hi there, I'm Jason,
And I'm Joseph.
and this is the Infinity Cast, where we spill the tea on Marvel and pop culture. This week, we're discussing Star Wars The Bad Batch, Episode 1, Aftermath, and Episode 2, Cut and Run. So let's get into it with the recaps. In the first episode, the Bad Batch are assisting Jedi Master Depa Billaba and her Padawan Caleb Doom on the planet Collar. Order 66 is issued and Billaba is killed. The Bad Batch receive the order, but only Crosshair feels compelled to obey it. Caleb escapes thanks to Hunter. Returning to Kamino, the Bad Batch learn that the Clone Wars are over and that the Empire has replaced the Republic. There they meet Omega, a young female defective clone. Admiral Tarkin arrives to evaluate the clone's viability and sends the Bad Batch to eliminate a group of insurgents on the planet Onderon. When they discover that these insurgents are actually refugees and fugitives under Saw Gerrera, Hunter and his men abandon the mission and return for Omega. Tarkin has Crosshair's inhibitor chip enhanced, turning him against his squad mates and forcing the Bad Batch and Omega to flee without him. In the second episode, the Bad Batch and Omega arrive on the planet Seleucami to meet with the clone deserter Cut Lawquane. Cut tells Hunter about the inhibitor chips and about his plan to escape with his family now that the military's presence is increasing. The two discover that newly introduced chain codes are needed to book public transport, but they know that Cut will be arrested if he tries to obtain one. Tech and Echo manage to steal and forge some chain codes, and with Omega's help, deliver them to Cut and his family just in time for them to board their transport. Hunter attempts to send Omega with Cut, but she decides to stay with the Bad Batch.
I like Omega. I do. Like I thought she was gonna be an annoying brat when the episodes first started, and I thought like she was just like she was. It was almost playing out to be similar to like the Mandalorian, where it's like armored troop in Star Wars has to take care of little child. But I feel like we've gotten through that quickly. Like boom, boom, boom. We're not that, and we're gonna actually start seeing her usefulness pretty soon. Um, Theory has it that she is probably a force sensitive or something else is going on that where she has an ability um, just like the others do. So I'm really curious where that's going to go. Overall, I really like the episode. I like the show. It's a nice new take on Star Wars and sequel series to the Clone Wars, and really showing us the dark path that the Empire led through from a society standpoint. Got some great cameos from Kenan Jarrus and Saw Gerrera. First pilot was basically 3 episodes, 3 acts of very distinct things. Uh, Loved it all. I think my only complaint was that in doing the whole Kanan Jarrus thing, they kind of retconned the comic book origin of the exact same like event that happened, because they had covered uh, Kanan Jarrus's Order 66, and even though it takes place on the same planet, the beats are very very different.
Yeah, and they had done something similar with Ahsoka in the final story from the Clone Wars. So I kind of wonder, what is the point of having a story group that is supposedly in charge of this canon if they are just going to retcon things?
Exactly, and that's something that I think Disney really needs to figure out. And like, I trust Dave Filoni to like, all right, I'm making this choice because this is where I want the story to go, and it just shows that he was not consulted on every iota of Star Wars lore. I mean, why would he? He's just Dave Filoni in charge of this show or that show. He's not Kathleen Kennedy yet, but that's the problem. Like, if you're not going to take all canon seriously, and if you're just going to retcon things as you go on, then what's the point of all this transmedia which you say is canon? Like, I enjoy the Marvel comics of Star Wars, which I take as canon, but if you're just going to like, oh, we have another idea for something in the show, so we're just going to ignore all that and just here we are, then what's the point?
Everyone was upset when they wiped away the EU, but I think one of the selling points of wiping away the EU was, okay, well, now everything counts. Everything is canon. Everything that we put out from this point forward is canon.
Yeah, so when they retcon something like this, I'm just like, that's really fucking it just doesn't sit right with me. Even if it's with the best of intentions, with the best writers. But that being said, like, all right, I give Dave Filoni a little bit of leeway with this stuff, because I trust in him and I want to see where he's going with this. Just like I'm like, he can't be just redoing the Mandalorian type of stories of protecting a child from the Empire, because I know he's smarter than this, and I know this is going to lead somewhere else where that's the main story. He's just using this as a tool, a vehicle to get where we want to go.
Also, it was kind of a weird choice to bring back Freddie Prinze Jr. to be child Kanan.
I thought it was cute. I didn't think that was weird. I heard a few people to mention like that it was weird, like that he couldn't get the voice down. I'm like, it's fine. He's adorable. I love bringing Freddie Prinze Jr. for a little bit of Kanan love.
Yeah, I wasn't mad about it. I just was like, he does not sound like a 12-year-old child.
No, he does not sound like a 12-year-old kid. He sounds like an 18-year-old kid. But like, okay, Kanan got he was always born to be more adult than than he was. Yeah. He's a Jedi Padawan in the middle of a war. Let his voice sound a little gruffer.
Did you see the online chatter about them whitewashing the character though?
Kanan?
Yeah, because in Rebels he is portrayed as being like a little bit darker skinned, and then in
Yeah,
this
he was
he's
a white boy in this one. He's pure white boy. No, I didn't see the online chatter about it, but yeah, I mean, now that you bring it up, he's like, okay, yeah, he's a white boy.
he's very pale. The other cameo that I was really excited about was having Tom Kane do the narration to the first episode.
Yeah, and I think it kind of disappointed some people that he didn't do it for the second, but I get it that they did that.
It's continuity. That's the end of the Clone Wars, you know?
Exactly. That's still, I mean, that's the pilot is just going to give me something else. I have to edit into the master, like Revenge of the Sith, end of Clone Wars, master edit where all these things are happening at once. Add another half an hour to it now, but I love that they did that because it really, even the title sequences showed that this was Clone Wars, but now we're evolving it to the next level. And so I hope we see more about what happened with the clones, what's all of the clones, because we have a lot of clones that we have to suddenly dispose of, and I'm pretty sure they're not all just going to retire in docking fields or anything. So I don't know.
Going back to Omega though, you're right. Omega is super adorable. And very and the voice acting for her is very Kiwi.
Yeah, it is very much. I think I'm really curious what they're doing with the character because I definitely feel akin to her. I just don't know why. There's something very familiar and lovable and comforting about her. I dig it. And her relationship with Hunter, just all of them. I dig the Bad Batch, and I feel like I shouldn't because there's so much archetypal tropes there, but it works so well together that if you really do a good story with them, I'm gonna follow you all the way. I think the archetypes work.
I like that they're kind of building on the characterizations from the last season of the Clone Wars because when they introduced the characters, I thought they were kind of one note in the Clone Wars, but like
Yeah, they were very one note because I feel like we have 3 episodes to really like. It's really still about the Clone Wars and these characters, but we have 3 episodes to really like show off these guys, and we have all the story and exposition to tell. So we're not really going to give you too much other than like this one is this power, this one does that power, this was that power. Like I'm used to Transformers, and that's how you introduce Transformers. Like this is their vehicle mode, and this is their special ability. Done, boom, next character, move on, sell a toy. But we're getting wonderful characterizations of these characters now that I'm enjoying. Maybe it's just it's been so long since I've had good Star Wars content, but that I'm all excited and will eat up anything. But I am thoroughly enjoying what we've gotten so far.
yeah, I don't know if Omega is force sensitive. But like Cut said in the second episode, the Kaminoans don't clone without a purpose. So I'm interested to see what that purpose ends up being.
Yeah, and like the idea is that she is the last clone made, right? Like she is it. She is literally the omega of this entire project. Um, so what were they going for? Like, and she's part of the Bad Batch, I guess, in that mentality that she's a mutant.
I just like that she's the anti Anakin. I bet she'd fucking love sand.
She does. She was looking at that dirt. She was like, "What is it? I love it."
Ah, to be young and dirty.
I know, right? I like that we got cut back into the scene. He was a nice little like vehicle to get us off world and have the clones, have the Bad Batch kind of understand what the overall circumstances. Rex got a little bit of a shout out. It was just here like a day ago. He's fine. He's going off doing his thing.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to. I mean, I know we're getting Rex eventually because I think he was briefly in one of the trailers, but little Rex breadcrumb.
Yeah, a little Rex breadcrumb. Though, I mean, like the Bad Batch existence, just like a lot of when you do Star Wars prequel shit, you're like, well, where are they in the later shit. Like I get that they're a later creation, and that's why they're not in anything else. But it doesn't mean that the Bad Batch are destined to all die. If Omega is a force sensitive something, or even anything special beyond just like, oh, her superpower is she can flick safety pins at the speed of light, like whatever her superpower is, um, it means that she's not going to be involved, and they're not going to be involved in the events that come later. Like everyone's going to die in 3 seasons.
Well, I mean, we said the same thing about like Ahsoka when we didn't know what her fate would be, and
True.
she.
And now she's got her own show in the Mandalorian era.
So yeah, you never know. It's a big universe.
Is it though? Because I feel like Star Wars Galaxy is literally the smallest galaxy anyone could have asked for.
It's like Las Vegas. It is both a big place, but also an incredibly small place where you run into people all the time.
Yeah. So everyone knows everybody in that galaxy. Like everybody. And apparently speed of light is fine to get, not gonna obsess over it. It's fine. It's fine. It's not Star Trek, not meant to be.
Why didn't Order 66 affect Cut?
That was my question. Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Like when I knew we were going there, like I was like, are they gonna find like a very like freaked out Cut looking to kill everything? Is like holding like a knife to his wife and his kids? Like what's going on?
My thought was that he always had a defective chip, and maybe that's why he was able to defect.
Maybe that would be a nice rationalization before the fact. That would work out. I'd accept that as canon.
I don't think we're going to get more on it, so it's probably going to be the headcanon.
I don't know. I feel maybe he'll come back. I mean, they use him every once in a while. I mean, all the clones with character names I think are going to be very small and in between, and I think they are all going to have purpose and they matter more now. So I think keeping them close to the cuff, especially if this is probably the last of any Clone Wars era content prequel stuff that we're ever going to get in Star Wars. This is probably the last bit of that. This transition between Republic and the Empire.
Yeah, and I'm excited about this time period because I've always kind of wondered like what it was like turning the Republic into the Empire.
Yeah, the Darth Vader comics went into it a little bit. I just kept reading the pages over and over and over again, looking for like little clues about what happened to the clones, what happened to during the hunt of the Jedi. One of the things that we never had done so far. We saw it a little bit in Rebels, but watching the Darth Vader hunt down, the last of the Jedi Knights, and I'm here for that, but we never got that. So now we have the quickly actually forming of the Empire, chain codes, everything else. That stuff's really fascinating and cool. We have no idea what's going to happen to the remainder of the clones, but they're already talking about, replacing it with an infantry, recruitment army, kind of a thing. And so, okay, so it's happening, but what happens, I think, is still the big blank. And we're still not seeing like Vader or his hit squad go after any Jedi yet. So but it's not, since we don't have a Jedi, it's not about that. I'm curious because there's still a lot of questions about this time period, and this show doesn't seem set up to answer them.
This is literally a show that like I can't guess the end game of this.
No, I don't know. It sounds silly, but like I don't know why this show exists. Like, of all the Star Wars things that they could tell us, the stories that they could tell us, why this? And there's usually an intention behind it, other than like, it'd be cool and we could sell toys of these 5 figures. I'm like, all right, yeah, you want to do like a Ninja Turtle line? I'm there for it. I'm like, okay, but I trust Dave Filoni's a lot smarter than that, and he has broader intentions than just that. So what is this show really about? And we don't know that yet.
Yeah, when I first heard about this show, before they even announced it, I was just like, why? Like, I don't get it.
It wasn't like, oh, we're going to get the Bad Batch, those characters you beloved from Clone Wars. And I'm like, I mean, the characters you literally just introduced like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, you love those guys. There's like the Hulk one and the one with the knives and
Echo, who is the only one who I really gave a shit about at that moment in time.
I can't wait until he gets reunited with Rex.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. Like, I actually really like seeing them now. I really like them. I am fans of them. I am fans of this group. I like the tropes. It works for me. But I just don't know where we go. Like, where are we going? Like, I got in the car, I'm here for it, but we're on a road trip. It's late at night, and I have no idea what's going on or where we're going. But all I know is there's this blonde kid in the back, and she's cool. I just don't know why she's here. So where are we going?
I have no idea where this vehicle's going. Stop the bus.
Do you have your chain code? That was cool that we got the Empire feeling bureaucratically evil immediately, which is like, nope, your credits ain't worth anything. We're transferring everything over. Everyone's gonna be registered.
You need to register so that you can use your money or do anything.
Do anything like that. That's how you do it.
Fascism!
Which is
We love fascism. It's our favorite.
but that's it. That's where it's at. I guess the only thing I could say, because I don't have a lot to say, because the episodes are so straightforward. There is something going on with the Kaminoan who helped Omega escape, Nala say, because she was just like, all right, I'm just going to help these guys. And maybe there's going to be a little bit of a rebellion in Kamino. Because I know in Star Wars lore, there was a rebellion on Kamino.
Yeah, isn't it? I think it's in one of the video games.
Yeah, it was like the 501st video game or one of those things. And so there was something like they rebelled against the Empire, and then the Empire like had to retake Kamino. So maybe we're building up to that, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that happening.
It should be cool. Like basically, this show is all about the end of the clones. So I could see that, like the entire show devoted to like the extinction of the clone people, and then the Bad Batch goes out with like a blaze of glory, like a very Alamo. Sounds Filoni in its tragedy.
Or maybe they'll revive the a rejected ending of Rogue One where everyone just like gets encased in carbonite. It was like one of the alternate endings because the director didn't think that Disney would just let him kill off all the characters, and then they were like, "No, you can do that."
Oh, okay. I'm gonna kill everybody then. Okay. I'm not joking here. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, go do it. We don't care.
Yeah, but I guess the original alternative was that like they would be in a ship escaping and like a carbonite bomb or something would go off, and basically they would just all be encased in carbonite and set adrift
How very Buck Rogers.
to be revived at some point in the future if needed.
Yeah, exactly. It's very Buck Rogers. And then it go loops around the solar system, and then it's like, oh, Endor's done. Woohoo! What's that? We're finding our sensors. This carbonite meteor. Oh my god, there's people. I know that person.
It's Khan. Wrong franchise.
Wrong franchise.
Is Crosshair the first Death Trooper? Because like the way he looked at the end of that episode, like all in black and with the helmet, like I was just like, he looks a lot like a Death Trooper.
That'd be really cool if that's where it goes, and like his armor is Death Trooper esque, and that what leads to that creation, and he just becomes like a mindless slave. The other direction is like he eventually will get fixed and will end up back in the group.
I think it's more compelling if he stays the antagonist.
No, I mean I think so too. I could see it happening both ways. Because of like, oh, we crosshairs. We hardly knew you, and the tragedy is that he's still their family, and they'll still want to save him if they figure out how to. I mean, if it's just the chip, then they just got to remove the chip. You know, if your brother, you know, who you've been serving with for years and years and years and loyal and you love, is suddenly brainwashed, and all you have to do is do a little bit of brain surgery to fix it, then you're going to do that brain surgery. You're going to do whatever you can to do that rather than have them chase your ass around the galaxy.
Yeah, maybe Rex will tell him how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we already got the information. We've acknowledged the first two episodes were all about like we have to get the Bad Batch up to date on the stuff the audience knows. You know, like these things are about chips. These things are about programming people. You know, not all the clones were affected in the same way, but if they had defective chips, to go to your thing, like Cut probably had a defective chip in the first place. That's a nice way of looking at it. Not all the Bad Batch mostly is immune to it because they're all fucked up in the head, except Crosshairs was a little less fucked up than the others. So yeah, I mean, like Omega wasn't affected,
but she's also defective. Speaking of defective, I loved the moment where that medical droid was like, I need to tell you guys, you're defective clones. I'll give you some time.
Oh, thank you so much.
Also, I'm just glad that they brought AZ back because I loved AZ in that little like arc.
I'm surprised he's still around. I mean, like the way the Kaminoans just like treat their droids and stuff. I figured they would have destroyed him and like put him down by now, like an old Yeller dog.
That's the thing about droids; you can just wipe them.
Yeah, so he's probably wiped. His personality's still there, still as clumsy and adorable as ever.
I was really hoping that they would take him with them and he would be like the droid on the show because I love that droid.
Yeah, I know. He is an adorable droid. Maybe again. Maybe he'll come back and he'll work with Nalase. Yeah, my prediction is that this is eventually going to lead to a Kaminoan civil war. That's what that's going to happen. Because everyone's all freaking out. Even the prime minister is just like, I don't know where this is going. We're just going to play both sides versus the middle until we know. Because this empire I don't trust, and they're not adhering to their contracts. And
It was pretty fucked up that Tarkin was like, "Oh, your contracts were with the Republic, and that doesn't exist anymore. So fuck you."
yeah, it was like, ha ha, we changed our name. All contracts are dead. I'm like, you son of a fucking. Tarkin's just an asshole no matter what.
Also, I felt like they aged him up too much because he looks way older than he did in the Clone Wars episodes he was in.
I think he looks older than he did in the Rebels episodes he was in. And that's like 20 years from now.
Yeah, I think there's a little weird continuity with his animated look, but whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'll take it. I mean, Tarkin, old, angry, bitter. I want a book about Tarkin that like shows why he's such an angry, miserable bastard. And I'm sure it exists, but like I want to know like how his mother treated him. You know what I mean? Like I want to get into his deep childhood traumas. Who hurt you, Tarkin? Who fucking hurt you? Bet a Jedi took away his toys.
I think Tarkin's thing was like maybe when he was a kid, he really wanted to have force powers and he didn't, and he was dejected, so he just became an angry old military man.
No, I feel like that was the original Trevorrow's script thing for Hux. I feel like that was the original. Like he was obsessed with like being a Jedi and he couldn't, so he just decided to kill everyone. Like Hitler and being a painter. Fascism comes from lots of traumas, lots of various traumas. Can't be a painter, can't be a Jedi. I will kill everybody now.
It's gonna be really hard to review this show. I feel
It really, I feel like it is.
our reviews are gonna be like 10 minutes long.
Yeah. So, what'd you think of the newest episode of Bad Batch? I liked it. What about you? I liked it too. All right, back to you, Bob. See you next week. We may not need to do two podcasts. We'll just like toy in Bad Batch with Loki at the beginning. All right, let's talk about Loki now. Let me get that out of the way. Until there's some more things to talk about, because there isn't even a lot of Easter eggs in the show right now. There's just we could talk about like Saw Gerrera's army of militants, like he's angry immediately. Duh, he's Saw Gerrera.
Oh man, Saw Gerrera is angry. I didn't see that plot point coming.
I'm right, exactly. So it's like there's really nothing to talk about other than like let's just go over the obvious.
As soon as they said that there were insurgents on Onderon, I was like, "Oh, cool! We're getting to Saw Gerrera already. Neat."
Yes. No episode 3 shit. Nope, it's Act 2 and episode 1. All right, okay. My friends gave me shit because I was like, "We're getting 3 episodes when it first aired," and they aired all 3 like episode sized parts as like one single movie. And I was like, "See, it's only 1 episode." I'm like, technically you're right, but technically it is 3 episodes, and it's not because it's not just like 3 like acts of one same story. It's like 3 specific plot points in one thing. It's like really, you cut that first episode into 3 parts, no one's gonna know any difference. It had each episode had an ending, and then we continue to the next one. So that was 3 episodes worth of content.
That is approximately right. It's a good premiere though.
It was no what I mean. Considering the last time we had like a premiere movie kind of experience when it came to animated content,
Much better experience this time.
much better experience. I went to the theaters for that shit.
I see. I didn't see the Clone Wars movie until like 4 years ago or 5 years ago, whenever I originally watched Clone Wars, and I'm glad I didn't try to see that in theaters.
Yeah, they really tried to push that on us as a theatrical experience, and it's like it's still Lucas just merchandising everything and trying. And I'm so happy that eventually his influence phased out and we got smarter, more creative people who followed Lucas's example but did it better, in my opinion. So like that's how Clone Wars evolved. I'm like, oh, I'll take it. But that first movie was, this worked for me. This worked. Like, but I will say, like, it worked. I'm not sitting here praising it because I don't get it yet. I don't understand it yet. But it's good for what it is, and I'm enjoying it. But I'm not going to sit here and like scream and like cream all over it yet, because I just don't get it yet, other than just enjoying what it is for what it is.
That's the thing. Like, we don't know where this is going, but we're in for it. We're going to watch it.
It's Filoni, it's Star Wars. I'll take it. And we got nothing going on till Loki anyway, so bring it on. Bring it on. Probably going to get some Rex, probably going to get some Ahsoka. Hopefully we'll get some Jedi hunting Vader stuff and more anger in the Camoan rebellion. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of potential here.
I think we'll get some more bicep curls with a gonk droid.
Definitely that. That Gonk droid's in for the long haul.
Gonk droids are so dumb, but I love them.
I'd watch a movie with them.
Gonk, a Star Wars story.
Gonk droid the movie. I'd totally be there.
All right, so make sure to like, subscribe, and please tell your friends. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Infini-TEA, spelled Infinite A Cast. And you can email us at infinitycast@gmail.com. Until next time, I'm Jason.
And I'm Joseph.
And we'll see you guys next week.